Okay, so hell at Bear Grylls World Scout Jamboree as 600 are struck down by heat wave and British parents complain their children have been abandoned in mosquito-infested field. They think they're going to die. Well, folks, welcome to the channel. Very interesting news. And before I go on, if you want to learn about real survival and preparedness, well, there you go. Survival skills, surviving the economic collapse. These are my books which are available in those links there below in Amazon. So I woke up to this about Bear Grylls World Scout Jamboree. Now, kind of surprised that survival expert, we would call Bear Grylls. You don't know about not doing an event in South Korea in the middle of summer? Yeah, that is kind of like a big no-no. Anyway, this is what we see from The Guardian. Let me go back there a little bit because it's worth watching. Okay, hundreds of attendees, World Scout Jamboree. Extended heat wave, 38. That is pretty hot, yeah. By the end of the first day, officials counted at least 400 patients. So the first day, this was already falling apart. Yeah, that was a horrible planning. Again, surprising because these are supposed to be people that are known for being well prepared, right? Scouts, Bear Grylls. Anyway. 23 people that have died, killed across the country. Why the hell would you do such an event? Look at where they are. Yes, they are in the middle of a field in South Korea in the middle of summer. So, well, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure this one out. First of all, preparedness and survival 101. You don't go to open fields in hot locations of the world in the middle of summer unless you have not much of an option. That is pretty basic. And of course, you have people that have probably, if you're one of the locals that works on these fields, right? You work on these fields as your daily routine in life. Well, you're probably acclimated. If you're one of these guys that works doing whatever outdoors activity is here, you're probably acclimated. You know how to keep yourself safe and so on. Dragging a bunch of British kids into the summer of South Korea, that is a horrible idea. But why is it that they do it? Money. That's usually the case. It is the fact that along with the summer holidays, if you're going to be, how many kids is it that they took? All right, 43,000 young scouts from 158 countries, lots of these British. It's summer holiday. You have to do it during this summer holiday because if not, they have class. So they do it for the money, but still, it is still so stupid to knowingly do it in a place that is so hot, that gets so hot, and not even taking into account the mosquitoes and the diseases they spread. But that's the difference between real survival, real preparedness, and reality show survival and preparedness. Most of you probably know about the show of Bear Grylls where he would jump into whitewater rivers and pretend to float with a wet jean, which is it's from it's textbook manual improvised flotation device, but he was doing that with a flotation device hidden under his clothes. That is pretty deceiving, but the danger here is that some kids watching this may think, yeah, that's actually a good idea. I'll jump into whitewater rivers, fast currents, improvising a flotation device with a wet jean. That gets you killed. Same thing for improvising a rope with the vegetation and climbing down the side of a cliff. That's not the kind of thing Bear Grylls has done. That's not the kind of thing that you should even suggest people do. Actual climbing ropes have very specific standards that are way better than anything you can do with any kind of improvised natural fiber. You will fall, you will get yourself killed if you try to rappel with a piece of bark that you just twisted into an improvised rope, right? If you don't have any other option left, if you're like aboriginal people that know how to make extremely strong cordage, that's all fine and good. Improvising these things in a matter of just a few minutes and just hanging yourself from a piece of natural twine from the side of a cliff, that's the best way of getting yourself killed. And the same goes for a number of other horrible advice that has some basis in realistic survival tactics and skills, but implemented in unrealistic scenarios, it's just bad idea. And this just goes to show how unprepared these people often are, how little connection they have with the thing they claim to be experts at. Why the hell would you put 40,000 people in a fucking swamp in summer in North Korea? Well, it is about money most of all, but it's also about not having someone that says, okay, yeah, but we want to make our money, but this is just not the place for it. It's not the time of the year for it. Oh, but this is exactly when kids have the break from school. Okay, let's at least find. I mean, I've gone, for example, one of the when I went to Ushuaia is like in the southern part of Argentina. That's the last city going south. Ushuaia, it's known as the end of the world. I went dead middle of the summer, but it's so far south that if you go during winter, there's just no light. It's 6 months of darkness and covered in snow. Middle of summer, great time of the year to do something like that in a place like Ushuaia. And the same goes for a number of other different regions. Know the region you're traveling to, know the kind of climate, weather, conditions that you're likely to encounter there, and plan accordingly, which is the least you would expect from the damn scouts. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Remember to keep it real. There's a difference between fantasy, reality TV, and realistic preparedness, which is what I do here in the channel. See you next time.